They're not distraught. They're not trying to push it down your throat. They're like, okay, they're addicted to their activity, not your response. And that's how, if you're going to get good at prospecting and last and be in the game, then I think it's a good suggestion. So see who's open versus try to close everyone. And here's the other thing that does is it prevents you from judging people. It prevents you from saying, oh, well, they'll never say yes. And I'm telling you, I swear to you, I prospected a lot of people that I did not think would move forward. I really didn't, but they did. And many of them became quite successful. When it comes to marketing, I want to share with you, and by the way, if you need help with scripts, I'm looking at the units tab of our Rank Makers group, and in our Rank Makers group, we have the closing blueprint, we have my crazy follow-up, we have warm market scripts, we have cold market scripts, we have curiosity post scripts, and our Facebook Live formula. All of that is in the units tab of Rank Makers. If you're not in there, feel free. If you want to check it out, it's $20 a month. It's at higdongroup.com/clubhouse, higdongroup.com/clubhouse. And so if you want to check that out, go for it. So around marketing. So let me throw one little tidbit around marketing. Marketing, I think my biggest suggestion to you is you don't have to talk about the thing you have for sale to make a lot of sales using marketing. And I know that may sound strange, but if instead of when you're only thinking that you should be marketing that thing you have for sale, whether it's essential oils or shampoo or yummy shakes or services or whatever, when you're limited to your creativity of how do I market this thing, then it's going to get old, it's going to get tired. Instead, think about what's the type of person that you would love to connect with, attract, work with in your team, and what are some of the things that they got going on? What are some of the problems that they're struggling with? Are they struggling with time management? Are they struggling with life balance? Are they struggling with parenting or losing weight? And think more about how can I start to give value, i.e. education, to the person I'm trying to attract that is likely to want my thing. And if you do that, then it's actually a lot more open. It's not quite as restrictive as how do I market this thing I have for sale. And so around that, I would love to take some questions. So if you have a question, let me know, raise your hand, do your thing. I see some rock stars in here. I want to knock out some Q&A first. All right, I see Orlando in the house. Orlando Taylor, how are you?
Hey Ray, how you doing?
Good, man. You got a question for us, man?
So, one of the things that I always talk about is the difference between prospecting and marketing.
Yep.
So I want to hear your take on it.
Yeah, it's simple. Prospecting is active, and prospecting is where you reach out to an individual. So when you reach out to an individual via text, email, phone call, whatever, you're reaching out to an individual. The reason why I say it's active is you have the control of you doing that activity. Marketing is actually passive. You're doing something you hope an unnamed individual reacts or responds to. So if you're putting out a podcast, you hope someone reacts or responds to. If you put out a drop card, if you run a billboard ad, if you do a TV ad, you're doing that hoping someone reacts or responds to it.
Okay.
Does that line up with what you think, or what do you think?
So my take on it is basically with prospecting, it's basically, quite possibly the complete opposite. My take might be.
Okay.
So when I basically tell people the difference between prospecting and marketing, I usually say that prospecting is basically that that you're going up to somebody, whether it be like in a bar, restaurant, whatever the case may be, and you're basically trying to convince them to check out what it is that you want them to check out, whether it's your product, service, your opportunity. But there's no filtration process. It's basically just shooting your shot in the dark and hoping that they respond to it. Where marketing is basically targeting people based off of their interests, and by the time you actually talk to them, you know for a fact they already have a level of interest due to the filtration and the qualifications that you put in place prior to actually speaking to them. So what is your take on that?
Yeah. So people that want, so I did both, right? You know, I've built a large email list. I've done, I think, about every type of sales, whether it's, you know, pitching from stage or funnels. You know, we have, you know, some good funnels. So people that want to be biased one way or another tend to degrade the other. So when you say, I'm walking up to a guy at a bar and quote, convincing them, I never convince anybody. So, but I did recruit people that went on to make a lot of money that I met at a bar. I didn't know shit about them, but I showed up and just saw if they were open. Some people moved forward and they became, you know, producers for me. And so I'm a fan of both. Ideally, if I that may not have funnels in place or surveys or qualifications or anything like that. Do I prefer putting in the work to develop funnels that do the qualification like you're talking about? Definitely, no question. You know, and so my story was I went for 20 no's a day, did a video a day, and I started the video a day over 11 years ago. And my hope was at some point I wouldn't have to do prospecting if I didn't have to. But the realization that there are people out there that either don't have effective marketing just yet or may never learn effective marketing but would prospect. So that's what keeps me from being biased of this way bad, that way good. And so I agree that with marketing, although what you combined is you combined a process of marketing and actually prospecting, weirdly enough, in that once you generate a lead and you can run them through 50 filters or whatever, if you are eventually connecting with that lead, even though they're highly qualified, to me that goes into prospecting because you're still at the end of the day asking them if they're open. Now, if you're marketing through a funnel where there is no human interaction, I think you'll miss maybe 10 to 20% of who you could have sold if you got on the phone with them or at least got on Messenger with them or something like that. But you can make it effective without any prospecting. But to me, once you start connecting with that lead, you're now dealing with an individual, you're asking questions for the sale. So you're turning marketing into a more qualified prospecting. So that's kind of my take. And notice the language you said, a person. Prospecting is an individual. Marketing is a group of people. And so I agree with most of the things you said.
Okay, thank you so much. And one more question.
Sure.
At what point do you consider somebody being a cold market prospect into a warm market prospect?
You know, it's interesting because so I am mainly training network marketers. So usually when I talk cold market, warm market, I'm typically referring to this source of origin. So the origination source. So if I go on Facebook and I drop comments on people, I don't do this method, but some people they'll drop comments and like, hey, I love your hat or whatever, and they'll do that kind of thing to quote warm them up. To me, that's a cold market strategy to convert them, and I don't draw the distinction because the origination is cold. Warm market being people you already know before you were reaching out to them. And so that's kind of my thing. I think some people like to say. I think even my wife likes to say, "Hey, go to cold people and warm them up." I would still say that is a cold market strategy. So I don't like to mix the origination source, if that makes sense. I'm kind of a weird stickler for some things.
No, that definitely does make a lot of sense. And then that's basically the origination of the question, basically turning somebody cold and then warming them up. So you actually put that very eloquently. Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Orlando. Appreciate it, man. Very nice, very nice.
Hey, Ray, before you take the next question, can I just encourage everybody in the room to please hit that plus symbol at the bottom of your screen and invite some people into this room if you're getting value already? We have Ray Higdon in the room. This is, seriously, he's a legend in this space, and he comes in and drops value. And if you have a chance to be in this room and absorb what he's putting down, it's not a small thing. So hit that little plus symbol. I encourage you to invite 5 people each to this room who you think can get value. Let's fill the place up.
Aw, you're awesome. That's why I need you guys on here, man. I just get into questions and I forget to do that stuff.
Actually, Stacy, Ray, real fast. If you haven't done so already and you're new to Clubhouse, go to the bottom of your screen or actually go to the smash Ray's face.
Oh man, ouch.
Not just nice. Hit his icon. Hit his icon, go up to the bell and choose always. So every single time Ray goes live, you know. And of course, we all want to know when Ray's going to go on to Clubhouse and drop nuggets.
Man, you guys are amazing. Wow. Okay, so is it Keegan up next?
Hi.
Am I saying that right? Is it Keegan?
Yes.
Yes. Awesome.
So my question stems off of what you said in the beginning about not necessarily marketing what you have to offer, but finding people with the same interests. So how do you go about doing that without showing something of what you have to offer?
Yeah. So the people who really struggle with marketing and getting results are typically they're trying to condense the sales process. And so I have this thing for sale. How do I do something that sells it? Whereas I would look at, okay, how can I think about what type of person might be interested in this thing, and how can I get a bunch of them to want to connect with me, whether they're ready to purchase or not? So without naming companies, can you tell me like what your product is or service?
I'm a life coach, so I'm not with the company.
Cool.
But
Perfect.
I find that I am marketing my product, so I'm very much like
your product.
This.
Your product being coaching. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got it, man. I got it.
A lot of my marketing is I can help you with this, and
Yeah. Gotcha. I got you, Keegan. We're gonna rock this. So, 2 things. One, I would use something that I teach in our 14-day challenge called mumbling. And mumbling sounds like a terrible suggestion, doesn't it? But mumbling is where you, without pitching, you bring up a concept without pitching. You bring up a concept of letting people visualize working with you, and you hint at other things. So here's what that might look like. Last night I was on with one of my clients, and I was helping her with and here are 3 things that will help you too. So I didn't pitch a coaching program, but I referenced that I have a client, which has people, think, anyone that has any kind of vibration with me or resonance with me is thinking, I wonder what that means to be a client. I wonder how that works, right? And so a mumble is just a little tiny, non-pushy, non-aggressive seed that you throw out there. That's not the answer to your question, but that's a second, suggestion for you. What I would do is, it's really, really simple when it comes to life coaching is you want to develop templates or checklists or PDFs or giveaways or audios or anything that's solving a problem of the type of people you want to coach. So if you are wanting to coach people that struggle with mom guilt, right? They run a business, they got kids, and I'm just making up an example. You can feel free to hit me with one if you want. But let's say that you deal with a lot of moms that have mom guilt. They have a business that they want to grow, but they also got kids at home. Arg, how do we balance it? So my suggestion would be to do videos that are like, hey, here's 3 ways to get rid of your mom guilt. Spend plenty of quality time with your kids and also build the business that you love. Here's tip number 1, tip number 2, tip number 3. I hope this was helpful. Feel free to share. If you would like more, I actually have an entire set of 12 tips I'm more than happy to give to you. Feel free to message me and I'll send them over to you. So you're not pitching a coaching program. You're not saying, hire me or anything like that. You're offering sheer value. Now, when they reach out to you, that's when you get to dig a little bit deeper. So this is kind of like what Orlando was talking about, where we're taking marketing and we're getting a little bit of qualification. And, so only people that struggle with that are going to reach out to you. No one's going to reach out to you that, I don't have mom guilt, but I'd love the checklist, right? Only people that struggle with that thing are going to be, reaching out to you for it. You connect with them and you say, hey, I'm just curious. I'm happy to send this over to you. How long have you struggled with this? And what kind of business are you trying to do? And so you ask them a couple questions and then you say, well, I don't know if you're looking for a life coach, but I do that. I'm happy to chat with you more if you want, but here's your checklist.
That's great. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Good luck. Good luck, Keegan. Very nice. Very nice. All right. All right. What is it, Sean? I think Sean's up next. He's got his party hat on, new to Clubhouse. What's going on, Sean?
Hey, Ray, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
First time, long time.
Nice.
Hey, man. Hey, it's great to get a chance to talk to you. Really just a statement and a question, really. Hey, as you said, I got my little party hat on. I'm brand new to Clubhouse. Love being here. Love all the knowledge that's being shared. But one of the things that I've noticed, and I just keep hearing from so many people, is, man, I was on Clubhouse for 10 hours, and I was on Clubhouse for 14 hours. Oh, my gosh, this has just been so incredible. And they've just been dropping nuggets and bombs. And my thought on that and my kind of encouragement to people is, if that's taking you away, especially if you're in sales, if that's taking you away from actually talking to customers, actually reaching out to people, live people, that avoidance behavior, just be careful, because a lot of times we get brand new shiny toys, we get brand new things, and they're really cool, but the goal at the end of the day, and just kind of just feel good because we got knowledge anyway. Ray, I just want you to speak to that. And great talking to you, buddy.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I'm just going to throw it out there that when I was dead broke, personal foreclosure, being chased by bill collectors, you would not have caught me on Clubhouse for 10 hours. I'm just letting you know, man. I had to make it rain. I had to make some money. And so it's, I would suggest, I've seen a lot this last few months of people throwing around the term activity management versus time management. And I guess I've been teaching that this whole time, but I just didn't call it that. But I like it. And so activity management is, let me create metrics that I have to hit every single day based around my activity. And then once you hit those, do what you want. So for me, the 3 things that I did every single day to become the number 1 income earner in a network marketing company from being in foreclosure and dead broke was, I went for 20 no's a day, I did a video a day, and I did self-development every day. Now, self-development every day, I guess I didn't have a timer on it, so I guess Clubhouse could be self-development. I'll come back to that. So let's talk about the 20 no's a day. So I wanted to create a daily method of operation that made success inevitable. And so I was broke. I needed to make money very badly. And I had read a book called Go for No. And I'm like, you know what? That makes sense, right? You get over your resistance around rejection and you just stack numbers, man. And so before my head hit the pillow every single day, I got 20 no's, right? And sometimes that took longer than other days, but I got 20 no's a day. I hated prospecting. I know how to do it. I can do it, but I didn't like it. I preferred people reaching out to me, like my man Orlando talked about, right? And so that's why I started doing a video a day. I started doing a video a day on July 15th of 2009, and I've never missed a day because I'm a lunatic. And then self-development every day. So if I hit 20 no's a day and a video a day, could I, meander through the meadow and watch Netflix for a few hours? Sure, right? I'm not saying you got to work all day, every minute of the day, or be doing profit producing activities every minute of the day, but you should have a minimum. You should have I have to hit these metrics in activity. See, I can't dictate my results. So I can dictate no's, right? I can't dictate yeses. Like some days I had 20 no's and that was it. Some days I had 5 or 6 yeses and 20 no's, but I couldn't dictate, the days where I can't dictate yeses. You just don't know when they're going to come. But I can dictate how many people I reach out to, how many people I follow up with, how many no's I get, because you just keep reaching out until you get them. And so so my suggestion would be have some metrics, and that's what you go after, whether it's 2 people a day, 5 people a day, 10 people a day, 1 video a day, 1 TikTok a day, 3 Instagram posts a day. Like, have some metrics based around activity that you have to hit before you just kick up your feet and sit in your leather-bound chair, listen to Clubhouse, right? Now let's tackle self-development real quick. I don't learn to learn, and I'm not fooling myself thinking that there's going to be some entrepreneur Jeopardy that I'm going to just blow it up one day. Like, I'm not learning to learn. I only learn to execute. So I'm learning. If I'm going after to learn something, it's because I want to execute on a particular thing. I want to alter my daily method of operation, or I want to maybe teach something. Sometimes I am learning something just so I can teach clients or just so I can teach our rank makers. But I think I agree with everything you're saying, man. If you're on Clubhouse and you haven't hit any numbers, you haven't reached out to anybody, you haven't done any marketing, you're not generating any leads, and your goal is to change your life, then you need to spend less time on here, and you need to spend more time, in the streets, right? In the digital streets, the virtual streets, the actual streets, like any kind of street other than Clubhouse. So I agree with you.
All right, man. Hey, I appreciate it. Just one more quick thing, just because it happened the other night, is I'm on LinkedIn a lot, and on LinkedIn it's so easy for people to reach out to you in that first message, boom, hit you with a sales pitch. And I was just telling the guy, I said, you may not want to do this, because if you do this to enough people on this platform, you'll get marked as spam, and a lot of time, and your account can get shut down. And his thing was, oh yeah, go for no, 20 no's a day. And I was saying, I don't think it was meant this way. Where
Right.
The first message you send somebody is a sales pitch with a link. And so could you talk a little bit about that? About sometimes how people may get that message wrong and just go right at people.
Yeah, for sure. So, first I realized maybe a year, maybe 2 years ago, that I had to come up with an actual definition of spam, because, some people, they hear cold market and say, oh, that's spam. Well, can't we talk to strangers? So if I, you know what I mean? Like, it didn't make sense to me that there was a correlation between cold market and that just means spam, right? Like, that just didn't make sense to me. And so the definition that I created was, spam is assuming the position of the prospect without any evidence. So if the guy walks up to the girl at the hotel bar and says, hey, you want to get married? Right? Because that's what all young gentlemen are after. That would be spam, right? But if he walks up to the same girl and says, "Hey, are you here with anyone? Can I buy you a drink?" That's not spam. It's seeing if they're open, right? It's let me gather some evidence to see where they are in the sales position, right? And so if you're reaching out to someone, this is my take and what I did and what worked for me and what's worked for a lot of our students is if I'm reaching out to someone and letting them know, hey, I'm doing this thing. Are you open to learning more? Are you open to more information? If not, no big deal. Then I don't see that as spam. Now, if I'm smacking them a link, then that is definitely spam because I don't give a link to anybody unless they ask for it, right? Unless I get to the point where they're like, yeah, go ahead and send it to me, then it's not spam because you've gathered the evidence to find out where they are in the sales position.
Awesome. I appreciate you, brother. I'm not going to take up all the time, but
Yeah,
man, I
man.
appreciate you.
Good stuff, man. Appreciate you. Awesome. And if you're digging this and you're not in our Rank Makers group, you may want to check that out. Nicole, what do you like about Rank Makers? Let's get you sharing.
That is a fantastic question, and I would take all night actually because I have an arm length of things that I can share. But I think what I like the most, Ray, is the fact that I have every single day I get a tip on how to build my business. You go live in the group and you share something that's going to help me go out and create the right conversations. And see, that's what you were saying. See, conversations, not conversion. We're taught that all the time. But for me personally, putting my head down and doing everything that you said and following your advice helped me triple my income and my team size in just a matter of months. So because of that, I'm forever grateful. It helped me understand how to create leaders instead of followers.
Nice. That's awesome. And if you want to check that out, you can at higdongroup.com/clubhouse. Okay, so I'm going to do one more because I know my wife wants me to watch something with her. I don't know what we're watching tonight, but we're watching something. But I'm going to go to Anna. Anna, how are you? And then Rita, stick around because I believe Stacy and Nicole are going to be on here as well. Anna, can you hear me? I think you're muted, Anna. Maybe. Or we might go to Rita. Anna, looks like you're still muted. I don't know what's happening. I don't know. Okay, Rita. Rita, what's going on? Can you unmute yourself? Can you hear me? Or am I still on here? Nicole, can you hear me? I don't know what's going on. Oh, wow. Have I been muted this whole time? Wow. This is crazy. Anna, can you hear me? I'm sorry.
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Wow, I am so silly. I've been saying, Anna, can you hear me? Hey, you're still muted. And I was the one muted. Wow. Okay, great. Yes, how can I help you?
Well, thank you so much. I just want to piggyback on what Nicole was saying about rank makers. I'm a rank maker, and I cannot thank you enough for everything, all the knowledge, everything that you guys pour on us every day. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
My question is, how do you decide how to generate leads online on social media? What platform to use? Because there's so many right now, so it's hard to decide which one we go.
Yeah, I agree. So, I think that the two most important things in order are one, which one are you going to be more consistent at? Like, which one are you going to be which one are you excited to consistently show up on? And that's a really big factor. Like, if you hate Facebook and you just don't want to do stuff over there, then even if it mathematically generates the most leads, but you really resonate with some other platform, then I would go with that other platform. And so, the very first question, which is the most important, is where would you like to show up consistently, and where will you show up consistently? Because consistency is what is the name of the game when it comes to, success in really anything, whether it's, working out, losing weight, making money, social media, etc. And then the second consideration is know that you can multi-purpose. And so, a lot of the times I am recording a video on my phone, loading it into a captions app, taking that, uploading it into TikTok, and then taking that video with captions and loading it on Instagram Reels. That's one unit of work, but it's uploaded into two different places. And sometimes it makes sense to throw it on Facebook Stories. Sometimes it makes sense to throw it on Twitter Fleet. And so I'm putting that in multiple places. And so I think those are the two most important considerations. Where are you going to focus the most amount of your effort and your energy? And then understand that you can multi-purpose.
Okay, got it. So even if your audience is a little different, let's say Facebook and Instagram, you can use the same post basically.
Yeah, I mean, there's nuances to it, right? Like there's things that may work better on. There's ways of doing content for Instagram and Facebook that may differ a little bit. So you can play with that and kind of figure that out. That'd be a lot to kind of teach all of that, but yeah, you can. A mistake is thinking that everything has to be totally different, like that you have to have a totally different personality or something on each of these platforms, and that's just too much work, right? I mean, you're still you, but let me give an example. So on Instagram, the thing that's working like crazy, which is something that my friend Shalene taught. We did a training with her maybe a week and a half ago, and she taught that reposting valuable images that have steps or a bulleted list or something that is valuable, reposting those things typically gets you the most engagement on Instagram. Well, I've been doing that and it's been working like crazy. However, sometimes I'll repost something and then my short video is based on the post. So that post on Instagram that is a bulleted list may not work as well on Facebook, but I could do a short video talking about those bullets and post on Facebook, and it would probably work okay. So it can be, very, very similar content, if not the same content, and still get some engagement. And you may want to, play with that. We do have, like, if you're wanting to do curiosity posts or Facebook Live, I know you're a rank maker. We do have that in the units tab of rank makers that might help you out.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Awesome. Great question. And so
Ray,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was just going to say, if before you answer the next question, because I know you're just going to keep on giving and giving and giving. Guys, hit that plus sign at the bottom of the screen and make sure you invite some more people into the room, because if he's going to answer another question, we need more ears in here to hear it, because it's going to be valuable. Make sure you're following Ray. If you're not, make sure you tap lightly on his head. We're not going to smash his head this time.
Yeah, take it
tap
easy.
Tap lightly on his head. And make sure you're following him, and also check in his bio. If he's connected to Instagram, you want to go and follow him on Instagram too, because he pours a lot of value in over there that you might not get access to here. And for those of you who have popped in, we talked a little bit about rank makers and all the value that's available in rank makers, trainings, scripts, daily action steps, amazing community. If you're not familiar,
Thanks,
and you'd like to learn more about that, higdongroup.com/clubhouse. I'll hand it back to you, Rick.
Yeah, and so I'm always thinking about my Android peeps, right? I'm always loving on my Android peeps. I'm not an Androider. I'm not an Androider, but there are people on Android that can't get into Clubhouse, and there are people that haven't gotten an invite, like Carrie. Come on, send Carrie an invite already. But haven't got an invite. So the people on TikTok are cracking up at me because I gave this big long dissertation like before I answered Anna's question, and I'm like, can you guys hear me? I'm like, I was on mute the whole time, so I'm being made fun of over here. But I actually have to hop off, so I'm going to turn it over to Stacy and Nicole, who are amazing, and I have seen them grow, grow massive businesses, achieve massive success. They are absolutely awesome. They're part of our crew. We work very, very closely with them, and they'll be answering some questions. I do before, but I am going to go watch whatever my wife would like to watch tonight. I don't know what's on the menu tonight, but it's whatever she wants. And I do see my friend Lisa Grossman hopped on. Lisa, how are you?
I'm awesome. I was just clapping for you that not only are you a brilliant businessman, but you seem to have learned how to be a brilliant husband as well. Whatever your wife wants to watch, this is so good.
And whatever she's going to watch, she's also going to have some s'mores. So I feel like I've learned. She's trained me very well, Lisa.
Oh, she's good. But I did want to share a tip I got from you.
Okay.
Based on something you just said. Now, Ray's a nice guy, so he's not going to tell you that when it comes to social media, I'm a total idiot. But I will, so he doesn't have to say it. But something that's been working really well for me on Facebook and here, which I didn't really tie to the 10 tips thing on Instagram, is that if you take your 10 tips and you do a Facebook Live, and you say 10 ways to help you sleep, let's say.
Sure.
And you say, I couldn't sleep, so I went and did some research, and I tried these things, and I'm going to grab a pen, and I'm going to go through some of them, and then you go through maybe 5 and say, look, I don't want to do a sleep lecture for y'all, but I gave you 5. I've actually got a list of 10 plus my super secret ones that I've recently discovered in the thread, or send me a private message and I'll send them to you. And then over here, every time I go through anything that's like, here's the 4 steps of how to structure your story, I have it all on lists. It's been written for years. People are like, can you say that again? Can you say that again? I'm like, well, you're supposed to repurpose that content if you're a talker like me and not an artist like all of you.
No, I love it. And one suggestion around that is you don't want it to be one tip, because you don't, depending on the platform, but you don't want people to say, well, just say it, right? So you don't want to say, hey, reach out to me for that one ingredient that will totally help you, because it begs the question, well, why don't you just freaking say it? Like, just say it already.
That's why I do like half the list, like you said. And the reason I brought that up is when I told you years ago that I didn't feel like I could create the pretty content, you said then go talk and give people half the information and ask them to ask you for the other half.
and you're a rock star now. You're a rock star.
What?
Can I say how much I love that the godmother of network marketing is so freaking coachable? Like, listen to this right now. Here's a clue, right?
No. Ray will tell you anything he's told me to do, sometimes kicking and screaming if I felt like I had to do more than draw a stick figure. I at least was willing to try and give it a shot. And when Ray speaks, the world listens. That's why he's Ray.
Oh, you're infinitely too kind. Infinitely too kind. Well, I appreciate you, Lisa. I'm going to turn it over to the ladies here, and I appreciate everyone tuning in. Hope to see some of you in Rank Makers if you're not already in there, but I got to go spend some time with wifey.
Will you give her a hug and a kiss for me?
I shall do that. I shall do that.
So much.
And the kiddos, too.
Yeah.
Tell Sabrina more hope she feels better.
Of course. Thank you.